Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Today is remembering the great civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., on what would have been his 94th birthday. Because of him and all the men and women who risked and lost their lives for freedom, justice, fairness, and equality, your sacrifice will not be in vain. And the fight will continue until the check America wrote that came back with insufficient funds will one day be reissued, and Black Americans will get what they rightfully deserve after centuries of misery, struggle, and degradation. Thank you, Dr. King, and happy birthday to you. Roll it, Tony.
Y'all ready for this? Memphis. We're rocking in Memphis. New York City never sleeps, but I need to hear that rebel beat. Everybody's moving too fast. I gotta slow down, make it last. Muddy Mississippi calls my name. In my heart I'm just a Southern dame. Only place for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today was born and raised in the place where she came by her love of music and entertainment naturally. Her unique blend of soulful music, earthly volumes, and comedy has captivated audiences worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the lady who critically acclaimed solo musical play. The Hebrew Hillbilly is the longest running solo musical play in the United States. I give you Shelley Price. Hi, Shelley.
Hi, Ron. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Greetings.
Happy King Day.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you once again for being on our show. We really love to have you.
Ron, it's a pleasure and an honor. And I just want to say to these people that are watching you, they understand that in a certain way, like Dr. Martin Luther King, you've dedicated your life to service because you're creating encouragement and entertainment, not only for viewers, but for those of us in the entertainment business. I want to say thank you and bravo.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It means a lot. It means a lot. Please tell us where you were born.
I was proudly born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, Ron. Home of the blues, birthplace of rock and roll. And I'm sorry to say the place where Dr. Martin Luther King was brutally assassinated. I believe it was April the 4th, 1968.
Yes.
Which is a sorrowful day for us all.
Wow. It is still a wonderful city. When was the last time you went home?
I was home last year, and actually I'm really, really homesick because, certain basic things always come through you in your childhood memories.
Yes.
And my mother's cooking was number one. And being that I am a Jewish girl from Memphis, Tennessee, my mama did specialize in Memphis's famous barbecue, but she spent a whole lot of time trying to convince me that barbecue was kosher. And, I have a show called The Hebrew Hillbilly, and I have a segment which is dedicated, and I do say that reverently, to barbecue. And I want all your people to come out and see my show. And it's this Saturday night, January 21st, 7:30 p.m., Santa Monica Playhouse. And Ron, I sure do hope you'll be there because we've added some new specialties, slides, and songs. We're not having barbecue, but we do have two food sponsors. And can I say who they are?
Please.
We have Gizalo, which is one of Santa Monica's newest trendiest eateries, and they specialize in amazing homemade breads and doughs, and therefore they make the dough constantly for their incredible pizza, which we will be serving this Saturday evening. And we have an abundance of riches We have Santa Monica's most loved bakery, Broadway Baker, contributing fantastic cookies, and some of them are even vegan friendly. So come on out and see the Hebrew Hillbilly special January encore performance this Saturday evening, January 21st, Santa Monica Playhouse, 7:30 p.m. Tickets available at HebrewHillbilly.com. Thank you.
Keeps you doing what you do. What is it?
Would you say that again?
What keeps you doing what you do?
Because I just love it. It's a passion which is so strong, I can't explain it. I was born this way. You know, there's a song about that. My mama was a singer, and she was, I thought, the best on earth. My daddy actually escaped from Russia, and somehow the Statue of Liberty told him to go down south, and he ended up in Memphis, Tennessee, and became not only a concert violinist, but an attorney at law, so he could sue you if you didn't like the way he played. Ha, 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 ha. And I have a tremendous musical heritage, not only from my family, but the vibrations that I was able to take advantage of walking up and down world famous Beale Street. And things were different back in the day.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to hear some of the greats singing on the street in Beale Street, remember, with the old boom boxes and so forth. And I just loved it. And those guys would invite me to sing a song. And I remember one of the first blues songs I learned to sing was Every Day I Have the Blues, and where I've had the blues ever since.
Shelley, every time you and I get together, you always tell me something about a guy named Elvis Presley. Would you please tell our audience about you and Elvis Presley?
Well, I thank you. I'm going to say that. Thank you very much to you and your listeners. You know, I really appreciate that opportunity. See, here's the thing. Although Elvis was not born, and I know I have to give the props to Tupelo, Mississippi for that, Elvis moved to Memphis, Tennessee. And I am so proud to tell you that Elvis and I shared most of the same musical influences. And as you know, they were mostly blues. Because if you were from Memphis, that's why people ask me if I sing country. And I say, well, I am from the country of the USA. But when I was growing up, blues ruled me. Because once you hear that raw, unbelievable beat, and I had the opportunity to see people like Mr. B.B. King in person, and not only experience the magnitude of his music, but this was a nice man. Gotcha. He treated everybody with dignity and respect. And these things shape your feelings about music, people, and the culture. So I have a great backdrop. And Elvis, to tell you the truth, was a gentleman. Now, my stepdaddy, whose name was Mr. Nate Evans, operated the Orpheum Theater on the corner of Beale and Main for many years. Matter of fact, we're trying to get him. They have a campaign for musical notes. And Nate Evans was the South's most foremost orchestra leader. He knew Elvis. With his partner, he actually was one of the major producers for the big Russwood Park concert that put Elvis over the top because he was shaking. He had a whole lot of shaking going on, and you couldn't stop the flow. I got to meet him when I was a pretty young girl because my mama came home in the middle of the night. She says, Shelley, you want to meet Elvis? Well, now, who in the world did not want to meet Elvis? Wow. So I dressed up as cute as I could and went over to the Idlewild Theater, and they were showing Jailhouse Rock. And Elvis was in front with the Memphis Mafia, his buddies that he hung out with. And I swear they all dressed up like Elvis. They had the sideburns and the hair.
Yes.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. I had the opportunity, and he kissed me on my cheek right about here. And I feel the same way about
you washed that area since that time?
Not really. I feel the same way about you. You give me a kiss over here, I'll just never wash my face. It was thrilling. Elvis Presley put Memphis on the map.
Yes. Here. Oh, yeah. No question. No question.
If you were lucky enough to have a sighting of Elvis in his pink Cadillac or any of his Cadillacs,
yes,
that made your day. Yes, I had the opportunity to fly in person on the same airplane next to Mr. Elvis Presley. many years ago because I was 18. Okay. It was a life-changing experience, which is outlined in my show because it is a solo musical play, Ron. I do play 23 characters, and Elvis is one of the most important characters. And I do recount the true experience of flying with Mr. Elvis Presley from Memphis to Los Angeles back in the day. And Elvis told me something that has changed my life to this day. You want to hear what it was?
Please.
Elvis Presley, I told him, he asked me why I was going out to California. And I said, I was going to San Francisco to be a teacher, but that I really wanted to be a singer. And then he said in his characteristic style, well, darling, I ain't never seen you do nothing, but you got a sparkle that not a lot of girls have. Yep. Don't you lose it out there in California, or you'll become just another hard broad, and they're a dime a dozen. And
okay.
Don't you forget.
All right.
Told you so. Ahoo. That's right. And I try not to forget to keep that sparkle, because really that light that we all do have from God is ours to share with the world. And if we lose it, we're in a world of trouble.
Right. Okay. Let's go back. Please tell us about the song called Hebrew Hillbilly. How did it get started?
Well, I created a show actually because Los Angeles is so beautifully diverse. I met a gal from Jamaica, Mon, if you want to believe this, about 12 years ago. Okay. And she said, you look like you have a solo show in you. And I said, well, you read my mind. And we got together and we went over names for shows.
Yes.
And I had all kinds of names like, Elvis, Shelvis, and me, because they do call me Shelvis, Queen of Rock and Roll. Okay. And I went on and on and on. And then I said, the Hebrew Hillbilly. She said, that's it. Stop. And we had a couple of what we call readings at various locations and homes. And we had people take a vote. Hebrew Hillbilly won. And that is the name of my show, based upon the fact that my first grade teacher, which we called Nasty Miss Asty, actually called me a Hebrew Hillbilly.
All right.
And it stuck with me to this day. And so far, quite a few people have come to see the show. And I have weathered the storms.
Yes. Now, you've taken the time to bring to us a song called I Want to Stand With You. Tell us about that, please.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, in Memphis, Tennessee, we encountered many different elements and isms. One of them was anti-Semitism, which unfortunately is way too strong today. And the other is racism, which is also too strong today. But I had an experience when I was a little girl, between 5 and 7 years old. I got to go downtown on the bus with my nanny, Ora Mae, who was like a second mama to me. She looked after me and helped me with my homework and was like a second mama to me. So I had the privilege one day to go downtown on the bus with Ora Mae. And it seemed like we were having a great time. I was wearing my prettiest pink taffeta dress, carrying my Mickey Mouse purse, and we were walking hand in hand all the way to the bus stop. As soon as we got on the bus, Ron, she drops me like a hot potato on a little seat by myself, hightails it to the back of the bus to a big, long seat, and sits with all her friends. What did I do wrong was all I could think.
Yes.
And that's where the song I Want to Stand With You came from. Are you going to play it now or later?
Yes, we're going to play. We're going to show a couple of photos before we get to the song. There's
Thank
one.
you, Will.
There's one.
Thank you.
And there's another.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I
Here
speak?
we go.
Thank you. Things have changed.
Yes.
Thank God for the better. In
Here
some
we go.
ways.
And hearing you sing the song, I Want to Stand By with in 3, 2, 1. Roll it, Tony.
I'm 7 years old, going downtown on the bus with my nanny. Why can't I sit with you? Tell me, what did I do What did I do wrong? Please don't make me go. Don't make me let go of your hand. I don't understand. Why can't I sit with you? We got off that bus. I'm thirsty.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, Tony. Wow. Wow. That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Thank you, Ron. I really appreciate you taking the time to play my song, Stand With You. And let me just say for a minute, I wrote it with a very talented singer-songwriter by the name of Harold Payne, who actually was Bobby Womack's producer. And they produced Bobby Womack's last album, Bravest Man in the Universe, together. And Harold Payne will be my special guest this Saturday evening, January 21st, for the Hebrew Hillbilly. And I hope y'all come out not only to see me, but Harold Payne will be in the house, y'all.
In the house. There's the poster right there. You see all that information up there?
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. And where can we get tickets at?
Best way is just to go to my website, HebrewHillbilly.com, and follow the link to tickets. If that doesn't work, you can go to brownpapertickets.com. And if that don't work, y'all can email us at Shelvis, SHELVISTN. That's Shelvis TN, abbreviation for the state of Tennessee, ShelvisTN at gmail.com. And y'all come. We're selling a lot of tickets, but we always got room for a few more on the dance floor.
Shelley, oh, Shelley, we most sincerely thank you for being on our show once again. Please tell us one more time how we can get the tickets for that upcoming play.
I'll be delighted. I want to thank you, Ron Brewington. I want y'all to put your hands together because without Ron Brewington, I sure wouldn't be here today. And without y'all, I ain't got no show at all. So please go to HebrewHillbilly.com and get your ticket for this Saturday night. You will also get to see Mr. Harold Payne open the show for me, and you will get free champagne provided by Shelley and 2 fantastic food sponsors. And so that's all, y'all. Happy King Day. Please show your respect.
Thank you, Shelley. Best wishes, and keep on doing what you're doing. Ladies and gentlemen.
Right back at you. Thank you so much.
Indeed. Entertainer Shelley Fisher. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to let you know that we are asking our squad to help us get former baseball player Curt Flood into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, Curt passed away January 20th, 1997, was a husband of one of our wonderful guests, renowned actress Judy Pace. All you got to do is contact our office at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. We sincerely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this magnificent award for a great baseball player. Okay, here's a question I'd like to ask everybody. How bad do you want to get into broadcasting? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, many of you have ever thought about getting a career in broadcasting? You see the glitz and glitter in the business and say to yourself, hey, I can do that. Just so you know, I've been in this broadcasting industry for over 30 years. And do I like it? I love it. Okay. So I teach broadcasting at Santa Monica College in a course called Media 13. That's broadcasting, announcing, and production 2 days a week. The course is online, so that makes it easy for you. Okay. So for more information, give me a call at 323-533-1036. That's it. Again, that's 323-533-1036. Okay? Give it a try, ladies and gentlemen. You never know. I say, ladies and gentlemen, we got ladies in the business for you guys. Okay? You'll be glad you did. And we still have openings for the class. Thank you. Roll it, Tony.
All right, you guys. Global 7500. This thing is huge. Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Brian. I fly private jets for a living. I'm also a film nerd and a skit writer. If you like aviation, comedy, and fun adventures, then follow along with me and my friends in a series that I like to call
All right, so I'm still acting.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I have known my next guest for a number of years. You just saw him that fast. I mean, he started as a young pilot, and now he's a commercial four-stripe captain who's flying all over the world. Oh, my goodness. And there's more. He's also a filmmaker and a comedian. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brian Monette. Greetings, Brian, and welcome to the Actor's Choice.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hope y'all doing well.
Thank you. Waited a long time to get you on the show.
I know, Ron. It's good to see you, man.
I know. You work. You be flying here. You be flying there. Got to catch you. Oh, yeah.
Hey, man, it's been, I wouldn't even say months, years.
Yeah, right.
Just seeing your face. Right. So, man, you're looking good, man.
Hey, you're looking good. Glad to have
you. Thank you.
Before we begin, please tell us where you were born.
I was born in Torrance, California, Torrance Memorial Hospital, to be exact, which is right next to Torrance Airport. Ironically. Fly out the airport from time to time these days.
Okay. So we have a lot of stuff to show, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to get right to it. Tony, can you show us number 35? This is Brian Monette and a cartoon of my man. Got his hair, got the sunglasses, and he got 4 stripes on his shoulder. You know, you've always had a dream to become a pilot since you were 3 years old, right?
3 years old, yes. According to what my mom told me. Now, my memory doesn't go that far back. In fact, my memory goes as far back as about 4 years old when I choked on a biscuit. So I don't go back that far. However, I do have a photo of me standing on my mom's nightstand wearing my little Frenchie outfit, and I got a model airplane in my hand. And that was she said that was when I was 3 years old. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. You know, I'm looking back at that photo like, yeah, so since back then.
So when you were in high school, you met a fellow by the name at Compton Airport named Robin Petgrave.
Yes, sir. Robin Petgrave. What a meeting. Oh, man. Robin Petgrave brings back so many memories. Okay, so back in 2003, I went on a field trip. I know, field trip in high school, right? To the Compton Airport, which is right around the corner. Now, I've been living in Compton majority of my life, since I was about 4 years old up until I was like 20. And I didn't know there was an airport there. I saw planes flying overhead, but I didn't know where they were going. So on this particular day in high school, our teacher took us to the Compton Airport. Mind you, this is an office occupations teacher, by the way. No involvement in aviation, but she just decided, hey, something feels right. I'm going to take them, go check this out. That might have been a call from God. I don't know, but hey, everything happens for a reason, right? So she took us to the Compton Airport, and I met Robin Petgrave, the owner of the establishment called Tomorrow's Aeronautical Museum. Ron, I know you know a lot about that place. That's where I met you. Yep. And I fell in love with the place. My God, he had airplanes, he had helicopters, he had history about Tuskegee Airmen. He had a whole bunch of stuff that I was all into. Right. Mind you, at that point, I had lost interest in aviation due to 9/11. Yes. And the fact that the thought that I had to join the military to become an airline pilot. Yes. So I lost motivation to be a pilot until this day when I met Robin Petgrave, and he took us on a flight in the helicopter, and I just fell in love with it. And I was the only person from my class who came back the very next day, filled out an application and joined his program so that I can get my pilot license. And I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And the rest is history.
How did you feel getting into a single engine plane, either by yourself or with a flight instructor for the first time?
The first time was with a flight instructor, of course. I'll tell you about the time by myself too. But the first time with an instructor was on June 13th, 2003. I'll never forget that day. It was a Friday the 13th.
Oh, gosh.
I'm not a superstitious person, so I really don't care about that stuff. But I was like, all right, I guess this is the day it's going to happen. So we made it happen. I flew in a little tiny airplane called a Piper Tomahawk, which holds 2 passengers, tiny, little 2-seater plane. And I was like, oh my God, he let me take control. We flew the traffic pattern, which is basically like a circle or a rectangle that we fly around an airport. And I got to take control while we were in the air. Now, the instructor did the takeoff and the landing, but I did the flying in the air. And it was like everything came to me naturally, because I used to play on flight simulators when I was a kid.
Spent a lot of time. Yes.
Yeah, spent a lot of time on that. So I was like, oh my God, I never got a feel for it in real life, but I know what I'm supposed to see. And I'm like, holy moly, like it was just crazy. So that's my first flight ever. Now my solo flight happened March 2nd, 2004. not even a whole year later. And that was at Hawthorne Airport in a Cessna 172. And I didn't even know that I was going to solo that day, to be honest. I've been wanting to solo for a long time.
Yes.
But my instructor, we landed over at Hawthorne Airport from Compton, which is about a 10-minute flight, if that. And we touched down, and she just hopped out the plane and said, okay, it's all you. And I'm like, finally. So took off. I did 3 takeoffs, 3 landings. And oh my God, it was just the best day ever. Like, you never forget your first solo when you fly in a airplane by yourself with no other person on the plane. That's what they mean when they say solo. Not a single soul on board, but yours.
Right.
Whew, unbelievable.
Wow. We brought some of your work today. The first one that we would like to see is called Pilot, straight out of Compton Airport.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that one.
Okay. Roll it, Tony.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. There's not going to be any flying in this episode. I apologize in advance.
I remember making that.
If you don't want to watch, here's the remote. Go ahead and click over.
In case you get bored,
I wouldn't blame you.
Go ahead.
I'm just kidding. Please don't leave me. Please don't go. Please don't go. I swear. Okay. Here's a clip of me flying. Are you happy now?
Wow.
That was just the intro.
That was just the
like
intro.
The actual show.
Okay. The next one we have is the Disgruntled Pilot series. Roll it, Tony.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my God, what an experience. That was literally the best thing ever. Like, what?
Dude, that's awesome, man. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. So, are you considering being a pilot now? Is the sky blue? Is the grass green? Like, are you kidding me? Yes, I want to be a pilot. Like, I want to take this all the way to commercial level. Like, dead ass. I love this. This is just incredible. This is the best experience of my life, and I want to keep on doing this for the rest of my life. Dude, I'm so glad to hear that, man. You know what? You're going to do just fine in our training program. I can...
The disappointment for that character at the end of that video. Oh, man.
Wow. Why you say that? What do you say?
Oh, because flight training is so expensive in real life.
Oh, yes.
So I decided to make a little joke about it, to describe some real situations that people have been through, but make a little humor about it. And towards the end, everybody's like, oh my God, yeah, facts. That's exactly how it is. You keep it 100, all that kind of stuff. Accurate.
Got you. Ladies and gentlemen, here's where he becomes Captain Monette. Roll it, Tony.
What's up, guys? So I'm sitting here in Ogden, Utah. Just got through flying the owners of a local franchise out here. They're having some kind of company meeting or something. And I decided while I'm sitting here waiting for them to return, I'd do a little short video to update you guys on what's been going on. For starters, as some of you already know, my shoulder's gotten just a little bit heavier because I have an extra stripe. Right there. That's right. I'm officially a captain now. Thank you. No.
How did you do that? Yes, you earned that. People don't realize it takes a lot of time and money to become a commercial pilot. Yes.
Emphasis on the money.
Amen.
God.
All right. Here's another one. Watching a pilot movie with an actual pilot. Roll it, Tony.
Hey, Captain Roger Victor. Looks like you're done with your trip. How did it go today?
Today was a rough one.
But that was a good one.
Yeah, well, sometimes we get those.
Weather, maintenance, passengers being asshats.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
You all had them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes passengers are like that, but most of the time they're really cool. At least I think so.
But at least we're back at the hotel, and
yeah, I was still talking about the passengers, but okay.
At check-in,
Where do you get ideas for these films at?
So that one is actually called FaceTime with a Pilot.
Yes.
So that was a little rough, but that was one of the first ones I made. I think that's episode 3 of my series. The funny thing is that video with the puppet. I actually found that on Facebook. Another person made that, and his name is Captain Roger Victor. I've never seen his face, but he's a popular character on Facebook and I think YouTube as well. And he just has that puppet, and he has kind of like what I do for make humor about the pilot life and everything. He does the same thing, but he does it with a puppet, So I found that video, so I reached out to him, and he responded. I was like, yo, I got this idea where I want to put some stuff together, like do FaceTime with your puppet. He was like, oh yeah, cool. Do whatever you want to do. I was like, all right, cool. So that's how that came about. And plus I learned how to, go into a program called Adobe After Effects and do the video editing. So it looks like a video that I actually saw can be displayed on the phone. So that was not actually playing on my phone. What was on my phone was actually just a green screen. So I did a little motion tracking for the rest. But
amazing. Yeah. Amazing. We got time for one more. Can you roll it, Tony?
So I'm going to be taking a ride up on one of these extra 300s with an instructor, and he's going to show me some cool aerobatic moves. So I've been looking forward to this for some time.
All right, so next up we'll just try a couple aileron rolls. Bit of a slow roll there. Yeah, roll's crisp enough. You don't even have to do like a lot of up and down elevator if you don't want to. Okay. Back if you want to go pretty fast. She's happy to oblige and full.
Look at my face. I'm like.
Tony, we got time for just one more. Being a pilot in an Uber. Can you put that one up for us, please? I believe it's number 9. This is funny.
This video is based on a real life situation where the Uber driver didn't know where to take me because I'm not a typical airline pilot.
What's up? How you doing?
Pilot.
Hey, doing good. How you doing?
Here.
I'm good. Cool.
Atlantic Aviation, please.
That's my buddy Josh, by the way.
Wait,
Josh
what's that?
It's on the map.
Okay, but what airline is that?
It's not
because I've never heard of that airline.
No, it's actually not an airline. It's actually a private charter.
Okay, what terminal is that in?
Wow. Brian, before you leave, something happened over the weekend recently. What was that about? We got a couple pictures to show that.
Was it? Oh, that thing. They were thinking about something else. All right. So we had Boeing, actual Boeing representatives come down to the Compton Airport. They came to visit us because they donated, or actually, this is the second time they've done this, by the way. They donated $250,000 to our organization, the Fly Compton Organization Foundation. And the reason we received that money is because we help young kids learn how to fly airplanes. Very much similar to Robin Petgrave, the person I talked about at the beginning of the video. He doesn't do that anymore. He passed the torch down to us, his actual students from years ago. And me, my buddy Ron in that photo right there at the far right, a few other people, we pretty much taken the torch and we say, hey man, we want to create this program for kids. And the funny thing is we came up with this idea during the pandemic when a lot of us pilots were furloughed and had a lot of free time on our hands. So we decided to come up with this Aero Club. We cater to kids, underprivileged kids, minorities, people who can't necessarily afford to fly. Even people who can afford to fly. We pretty much cater to everybody, but we focus on the people who can't and are underprivileged and aren't necessarily exposed to aviation. We're here so we can expose them to aviation. Because like I said, when I was a kid, I didn't even know that how I can become a pilot without going to the military. So there's some other kids that probably think the same thing, or they may just not have the resources or money to do it. So that's what we do. Boeing saw what we do and they wanted to help out. So that $250,000 is to help those kids.
Thank you. One quick question before we leave. How can people get in touch with you?
Okay, you can look at me up on social media. On YouTube, it's just my name, Brian Monette. As you can see right here in the corner. You can find all my stuff there, the Disgruntled Pilot series, the funny stuff that I was posting, and you can find my vlog series where I actually take the camera on a private jet and show exactly what I do for a living. I got plenty of videos doing that. More to come. Also on Instagram is Mayhem Park. So mayhem as in like mayhem, chaos, and park. So that's kind of how you find me that way. And also I got the little glowing sign in the background. Yeah, I don't know if you can really tell what it says, but it says Mayhem Park. This is my game room right here. And that's the best way to reach out to me. But also Fly Compton. Right. I definitely have to point out Fly Compton. Fly Compton on Instagram and Fly Compton on Facebook. You can find us on there.
Brian, thank you so very much for being here today. I have waited a long time to have you on this show. You are a busy man. Of course, please continue as a pilot, flying all those places that you go, and keep up that filmmaker and please the comedy, what you do. Folks, wasn't he the best? Wasn't he the best?
I appreciate it, guys. And hey, you can have me back, man, whenever you want. Just let me know. I mean, I'm getting a lot more free time these days, you know.
You got it. Okay.
Now that I'm flying Mr. Combs.
Okay. Who's that? I didn't get into that.
Okay. Well, I don't be. I fly Mr. P. Diddy.
Yes.
Sean Combs. So a lot of you guys know him.
Yes.
So I'm his personal pilot.
I see.
Yeah. So since I've been flying him, I've been flying a lot less actually, but to cooler places, which is pretty awesome. So,
ladies and gentlemen, Brian Monette.
All right. Take care, everybody. Nice meeting y'all.
Thank you. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. For more information about the TAC Roco channel, please call us at 3213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. Roll it, Tony.
It took you so long. At least you know how to drive. This one takes so long.
Man, why you got me out here in front of this abandoned building? What's up with that?
First of all, calm down. My boss mommy tripping. My name's supposed to be in a car with boys, especially drug dealers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have known my next guest today for a long time. She's one busy lady in this business. I'm telling you for real. She's a producer, a director, a writer, an actress, and an educator. She's worked with a lot of people like Shaka Khan, Isaac Hayes, Wendy Raquel Robinson, Leon, Monique, and many others. So please, without further ado, please welcome Zadia Ife. Greetings, lady. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Actor's Choice. My first question is, where you come from? Where were you born?
I am from Neptune, New Jersey.
Oh.
Down on the seashore, right on the beach. Lovely little town, and that's where I grew up.
Wow. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw, it was one of the works that she's done. It's called Her Little Secret, back in 2017. This lady does a lot of work on television. She's all over, but stage work is where she's at. That lady does a lot of stage work, believe it, a lot of stage work. How do you love what you do?
You said, how do I love? What do I do?
How much do you love what you do? Yeah.
I absolutely love what I do. I have been working in theater actually since I was very, very young.
Yes.
Like many African Americans, I got my start in my home church in New Jersey.
Yes.
And, there was a wonderful woman who was just very instrumental in shaping my consciousness with regard to what art was all about. She was the first one to take me to see the opera. She was the first one to take me to a show on Broadway, first one to take me out of the country to Canada. And she instilled in me this love for theater when I was like 10 and 12 years old.
Yes.
And it never left me. And so after I graduated from high school, I went to a junior college first and got an associate's degree. And it just so happened that two of the major theater professors there had worked on Broadway. So they brought that professional kind of energy to a junior college, which was just fabulous for me. And after I graduated with my associate's degree, I went on to Mason Gross at Rutgers and studied with Avery Brooks and Glenda Dickerson, who has since passed on. and they were both of my mentors. And after I graduated, I just never stopped. I just kept going.
Wow. What's it like for you to write a play? Where do you get ideas from?
From, you know, as an artist, you're always very observant. And so you're always watching everything.
Yep.
You're looking for, I'm a people watcher. Like I can literally just sit back and sit in my car wherever I'm at. I'm always watching for, you know, how someone walks. What are their mannerisms? How do they move? How do they talk? So when I'm creating characters, I may take your laugh, for example. You know what I mean? And couple it with the way my father walked. Do you know what I mean? And then couple that with the way someone else smiles. Do you know what I mean? Because when you're creating a character, you want to know the character as well as you know yourself. So you create this wonderful backstory for them. It always starts with the character development, whether you're writing a play or a episodic, a TV show, or writing a movie. You want to, once you have the premise of what you want your story to be about, then you want to develop the characters. And if you do a good enough job, the characters really start to tell the story for you.
How challenging is this industry?
Very. It is extremely challenging. When I moved here from the East Coast in 1998, I was working on my doctorate at Temple University. I had left and went and did a short stint teaching for the University of Delaware. And I taught at this fabulous community school of the arts called the Christina Cultural Arts Center. They celebrated their 65th anniversary in 1999. So I left and moved there because I'd reached the glass ceiling. I'd worked with this incredible group of kids, and after they all graduated, I could not see myself training up, you know, a whole new group. So several of my students had moved to Hollywood and they had done well, and they were like, "You should come on out." And so I came out, and I think I was looking at the industry through rose-tinted glasses, not realizing just how difficult it was. And so I went back to what had always been comfortable for me, which was doing theater. And so that's how I started here. The first play I did was Shaking the Mess Out of Misery by Shea Youngblood. We got the LA Weekly Pick of the Week and rave reviews in the LA Times. And I suppose that sort of established me as a pretty good director, you know what I mean? Yes. And because I come from the East Coast and you know, years ago did my Gopher work on Broadway, I bring that kind of energy, yes, you know, when I direct. And
you have a reputation as a giver to everyone. What does that mean?
I beg your pardon?
You have a reputation as a giver. What does that mean?
Well, because my graduate degrees are in African American studies.
Okay.
So I've always maintained a very Afrocentric perspective. I've studied with some of the, oh my God, most wonderful and prolific scholars, African American scholars from around the diaspora. Dr. Yosef Ben Yohanan. When I was at Cornell, I was his teaching assistant. When I was at Rutgers, I minored in African American studies, and I studied with the late Professor Ivan Van Sertima. Yes. That was a notable book that came before Columbus. And then I did my doctoral studies at Temple University in the first PhD program in African American Studies with Dr. Molefi Asante. So I come from this Afrocentric worldview. I believe in the village. I believe that it takes a village to raise a child, and not just a child, but you know, that's an African proverb, but the child is in all of us, you know? Yes. So in that, you have to give back. You have to always, you know, each one teach one, guide one, goad one, push one, pull one. That's the model that I live by, you know. And because if you give out wonderful karma, that karma then goes around the universe, is magnified 1,000-fold and comes back to you. And so you always have to reach back. You always have to give. So I have students that I taught from the time that they were 9 years old that I still coach. Yes. They're working in the business. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Whenever I'm doing a project, anyone that I know, whoever is the right person for the project, that's what I'm reaching out to. If it's a project, every project is not right for me that I'm called upon to do. And so I'm going to refer someone that is. I remember when I first met Bill Duke.
Bill Duke, yes.
Yes, Bill Duke. And when I first moved here, and he said something that just really resonated with me. We were talking about a project, and I had what I thought was this wonderful script, and he kind of thought it was wonderful. It was just one of those projects that kind of got lost in the sauce, so to speak. But he said, well, and I said, I really want you to, read the script. It's a psychological thriller. It's like a cross between Silence of the Lamb meets Seven. And he just calmly nodded and said, okay, well, I'll take a look at it. And if I'm right for it, then we'll go from there. And if I'm right for it were the optimum words for me. Because every project you're not right for. So if a project comes across my desk that I'm not right for, I'm going to refer someone else to it. I know my limitations, and I don't even want to say limitations. I know what I can do and what I have yet to learn how to do. So if something comes across my desk that I've yet to learn how to do it, I'm not going to try to step into it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And blow it. I am going to refer that project off to someone else. That's being a giver.
You've done a lot of plays. Let's take a look at some of your plays.
Okay.
You brought your press kit out.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
A lot of plays there. There's what, 4 or 5 of them there?
Yes. I just left New York. Well, not just, but back in October 16th. I took a show that I didn't write, but I directed. Wonderful show called A Mile in My Shoes.
Right.
The show premiered here in Los Angeles at the LA Fringe Festival, and then we ran it after the festival ended. Written by Catherine Taylor Smith. Wonderful piece. And the premise is about a lady who lives on the streets, a homeless woman who collects shoes for the homeless, and she's a bit of a shoe whisperer. So she can touch a pair of shoes and instinctively know the life of the person who lived in it. And so Catherine is a phenomenal actress. She plays 19 different characters in this show. And so we were invited in 2019 to bring the show to the New York Solo Theater Festival, United Solo Theater Festival, but the pandemic hit. And as you know, everything got shut down. Yep. So they came back up, they contacted Catherine and, said, we would love to have you. And we went in and rocked New York. Gotcha. And it was just a wonderful piece. I did another piece off Broadway with Karen Abercrombie. Karen played Miss Claire in the movie War Room. The faith-based movie that came out like right after Straight Outta Compton came out and kind of rocked the industry because no one had ever seen a faith-based movie get that kind of press. And following that it did, she has a fabulous show called Ciao Bella. Miss Karen, as I called her, is one of the best kept secrets in the industry. She has a 5-octave range. She's an amazing singer, and she wrote book, lyrics, song, and some of the music for the show. And it's a 2-person show. It's absolutely wonderful. We premiered the show in New York at the Sheen, at the Laredo Art Center, at the Sheen Art Center in New York. It's one of the theaters down in the Village where Whoopi Goldberg had her one-woman show back in the day. And it was just wonderful. There's nothing like New York theater.
No, it's not. Love it. You're from New York. Yes.
It's a different energy.
Yes, it is.
Saying in Los Angeles. So those were really wonderful for me. Yes. I have worked on the urban circuit a lot, the same circuit that Tyler Perry and David Talbert have been on. I've actually stage managed for Tyler Perry back in the day and David Talbert. And then I've done shows that I've directed on my own on that circuit too. The last one was, the first one was Love Jones, the musical. Starred a ton of people. Chrisette Michelle, she was our leading actress. MC Light was in the show. Raheem Devon was in the show. Dave Hollister was in the show. We had enough because the show was set and the major setting was a club. We could bring through different singers to come through. Do you know what I mean? Yes. Elder Barge came and Tevin Campbell came through. And so, and the urban circuit is a different kind of feel. You're catering to that audience that loves to come out and hear some good singing and tap their feet and some jokes, and you know what I mean, and a storyline, you know what I mean. Yeah. But we premiered around the country for 13 weeks.
Wow.
That was very nice.
Gotcha.
The last piece I did was the Neighborhood Barbershop.
Yes.
It's Monique, Academy Award winning. Monique, okay. Absolutely wonderful to work.
Excellent.
Consummate professional.
Zadia, we got to bring you back. You're a real pleasure having you here. We got to bring you back. We just started on some of the things that you know. What you have done for the stage for so many years is so memorable. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. Break a leg, lady. Break a leg.
Thank you. Oh. And you gotta come out and see my show. That's running now at the Hudson Theater backstage. We premiere this Friday. We open on Saturday, and it runs through the 26th of February. It's called Southern Girls.
Good deal. I'll call you on the phone and get some information from you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Effie. Thank you very much, Zadia. Thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman, Photography is an Art, Ron Irwin's Lose Life, The Way to Lose Weight, Larry Buford's book To the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm agent Carla Green and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's Actor Training School and Actor Space. And much thanks to our guest today, singer, songwriter, actress Shelley Fisher, commercial pilot, comedian, filmmaker Brian Monette, and producer, director, writer Zadia Ife. And of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. Be well. We'll see you next time